women and girls bear the brunt of conflict. The inequalities that women are subjected to are exacerbated during conflict.
In the Constitution of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, it is stated therein, and I quote, "Since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed." End of quotes. Consequently, therefore, the apparent desire for a global peace and the fate of this destructive global insecurity resulted in the United Nations Organization coming up with various resolutions intended to promote peace and tranquility for the inhabitants of the nations of the world. Some of these critical resolutions, for example, are the United Nations Resolution 52/15 of 28 November 1997, which proclaimed the year 2000 as the International Year for the Culture of Peace, and Resolution 53/25 of 19 November 1998, which proclaimed 2001 to 2010 the International Decade for a Culture of Peace and Non-Violence for the Children of the World. In addition to some other relevant resolutions aimed at pursuing a culture of global peaceful coexistence. In the light of this, thus, it is consequently evident that the UNESCO has an important mandate to fulfill in promoting the global culture of peace. To this end, the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 of 31st October 2001 on women, peace and security acknowledged for the first time the crucial importance of women's participation in the peace processes.
31st of October 2000, the Security Council recognized for the first time the role that women have been playing.
Those in favor, please raise their hand. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 1325.
Really brought to light the need for women to play an important role in participation, in negotiation, in preventing conflict.
1325 in many ways is saying that not only women have the right to come to the negotiating table, they should be present, they must be present.
Women are women! Women! What do we want? Peace!
It was always a collaboration between civil society, the UN, and government. Civil society on its own couldn't have gotten this resolution, and the governments and the UN wouldn't have gotten it.
Consequently, the 2015 Rethinking Global Peace Summit was originated by the UNESCO Center for Global Education as a platform to bring women in various world religions to discussion on sustainable roles of women in relation to global peace.
Peace is equally an important aspect of a role women should do, not domestic. Even when you are applying domestic responsibility, how often do you put in peace into your domestic roles?
Women have to take the lead in both national and global unification by providing an example through education based on a true value system and the practice of true love. Dr. Ada Okika, Executive Director, UNESCO, gave the keynote address. She said that women must be at the negotiation table when peace is sought, whether it be peace for the family or at a national level. Wherever we need peace, we need women because everyone comes from a woman's womb. Everyone talks about how to bring peace, but an important part of the human makeup, women, are not there. One of our best-known signature projects to encourage this is the Bridge of Peace.
The first global summit for women in world religion in the era of global peace, coming up at a time the global community is most concerned about sustainable peace across the world, especially with the increasing rate of wars and conflicts.
As somebody that is looking to promote peace, if I want peace, I have to create an atmosphere of peace. And the first thing I need to do is to study the people around me. I don't want to upset them. I don't want to get into conflict with them. I don't want them to hate me. On the premise of love, I will become nothing that I may become something.
With all this in mind, we hereby present a short highlights on the importance of the roles of women of all religions in promoting a culture of peace in our global community. Women, the gateway to global peace.
The chairman of the Nobel Committee said this year's award honoured the role women play in the ongoing battle for human rights.
When giving its reason for this year's award, the Nobel Committee stated that we cannot achieve democracy and lasting peace in the world unless women acquire the same opportunities as men to influence developments at all levels of society.
First to receive her award was the Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She said women pay a high price in war, girls' education is underfunded, but still she's optimistic about the future.
Today across the globe, women and also men from all walks of life are finding the courage to say loudly and firmly in 1,000 languages, no more. They reject mindless violence and defend the fundamental rights of democracy, of an open society, of freedom, and of peace.
Another Liberian peacemaker, Lema Gabawi, said in her country everything changed when women turned around and confronted injustice.
We were aware that the end of the war would only come through non-violence, as we had seen that the use of violence was taking us and our beloved country, Liberia, deeper into the abyss of pains, death, and destruction.
The youngest of the three prize winners is Tawakkul Karman, the first Arab woman to receive the Nobel Peace Award. She's a 32-year-old Yemeni activist who became a leading figure in the street protests there. They gave her a standing ovation.
Thank you for this award, which I consider as an honor to me personally, to my country, Yemen, to Arab women, to all women of the world, and to all people aspiring to freedom and dignity.
All three women are icons in their own countries.
With special recognition and due respect to the labor and the efforts of diversities of world religion in pursuing and promoting peace on their various platforms, I will not be able to touch on various laudable efforts, labors, initiatives, and the workable and working agendas of various world religions in their effort and attempt in promoting and supporting global peaceful coexistence. However, I would endeavor to look from one religious angle, the role of women in promoting the peace for the global community.
In every religion, the foundation on all the religions is based towards peace and peace towards humankind. That is why we all need to live together and build a foundation of peace, either in the church, in the mosque, in any of our religious practices organizations.
King Solomon, the biblical ancient wise Hebrew king, the son of King David of Israel, said in his Proverbs 14:1, "Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish pluck it down with her hands." That goes on to say the roles of women in promoting the global peace begins from promotion of peace in their various homes.
Women's role for world peace starts probably, I would say, in utero, between having a peaceful environment for your child to be raised in, getting along with your spouse, your other children. Also, as they grow, every single thing they do every day makes them either a loving or non-loving person. That's what I feel. And you have to just promote the loving, peaceful behaviors.
That means, therefore, a woman is first and foremost a gateway to peace in her home before she becomes a gateway to global peace.
Lema Bowie has been awarded her share of the Nobel Peace Prize for her role in bringing peace to Liberia after the country's second civil war. Today, at the family home in Monrovia, some of her family and friends have gathered to celebrate her achievements, including her father.
This girl, I can't say she is the jewel of this family. No, she is the jewel of Liberia.
Lema Bowie grew up as one of 5 sisters born to a middle-class Liberian family. She had ambitions to be a doctor, but at the age of 18, Bowie was forced to flee to Ghana to escape the horror of the Civil War.
I did not see a dead body until I was in my teens, because it was not a commonplace for me growing up as a child. When the war came, all of that was broken down. And then I started asking myself, so who am I? What is this community that I live in?
After returning to Liberia in 1991, Bowie began working in trauma healing workshops with former child soldiers. It was meeting these damaged children that would inspire her later role in helping to create stability in Liberia.
Boys who had the guns, they were the ones that I was really looking at and angry at. But there was this one particular child soldier, and what I could see was an 8-year-old arrested in the body of a man. That's what I could see, and it really broke my heart.
Under the brutal regime of President Charles Taylor, and with the opposition forces gaining strength, Liberia was once again facing more senseless conflict. Bowie initiated a peace campaign, inviting women from all religions to protest for peace. On April the 14th, 2003, more than 2,000 women gathered in this field to begin their campaign. 10 days later, President Taylor invited Bowie and her supporters to his executive mansion.
I kept saying to myself, his statement is too decent. It's too sterile for this man. He needs to hear the hard truth. So as I tell President Taylor,
we are tired of war. We are tired running. We are tired begging for burger wheat. We are tired of our children being raped.
in essence, the women of Liberia sitting down there are fed up with the unnecessary war.
Kindly convey this to the President of Liberia. Thank you.
In an historic meeting, President Taylor and the rebels agreed to meet up to negotiate. Bowie and the women were there to meet them.
We are their conscience. Sitting out here, we are calling to their conscience to do the right thing.
And on August the 18th, 2003, 2 months after the talks began, a peace deal was agreed. President Charles Taylor had resigned and agreed to go into exile in Nigeria. The war was over.
In the next 5 to 6 years, I'm not saying we would have been reconciled, but we'll be on the right road to reconciliation. That's the future I have for this Liberia, and that we will never again go to war.
As a result of our critical roles in promoting and securing peace at home, and in order for us to be effective promoters of peace for the global community, we need to pay significant attention to our roles in building up the life and characters of our children. by laying for them good examples of virtue and characters.
What we do as women in our home, how we raise our children, how we support them, the values and the character that we give to them is part of what they will put out there.
Children and youth all over the world contribute to a very large percentage of violence, crimes, and gangsterism that threaten the peace of our world. But when we play our roles of nurturing them in the fear of God and love for humanity at home, we shall prevent them from wasting their lives in vices like sexual abuse and gang rape.
The Lord has given us these children as blessings. But we must understand that we are the caretaker, the keeper of these children, building them for the Lord, for the work of God, and for the glory of God. The Lord determined that our children shall be great. He designed them for His greatness. So we mothers, fathers, we should have the knowledge and the ability of building these children in the way of the Lord and building them towards the goal and accomplishment of that will of God in their lives. We don't want any waster to waste the time and the destiny of our children and our lives too at the same time as fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, auntie, uncles, nephews, cousins. We have to make sure that our children are following direction. Some of us, we peg them so much, we didn't allow them to understand that, this is the way that they should follow. Some of them, our children, are the one ruling the house. We don't actually kind of nurture them, making sure that we correct them when they are wrong. We have to make sure that these children, we nurture them well because they are given unto us. We are the custodian of these children.
In the light of this, will it not be difficult to achieve the global peace we so much desired if the role of family units and parents, and most especially the natural affectionate care of mothers, are ignored? There's a solemn advice for all parents. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Walking along this divine instruction of taking up the responsibility of training and teaching our children the way and fear of God and respect for humanity will drastically reduce the evils and violence perpetrated by our youths.
I believe that women in leadership, women such as me, have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to the younger women. We have a responsibility to be able to mentor younger women. And I believe that we as women in leadership need to begin to break the glass ceilings. We cannot go with the old tradition and believing, that no, we can't do this and we can't do this. We have to be like Esther. Esther, in the book of Esther, she said, if I perish, I perish, but I will do what God has called me to do. So as leaders, we need to, number one, mentor, number two, break the glass ceiling, and number three, truly believe God and be like an Esther generation.
If we, the women, are going to be the harbingers of global peace, then we should arise in unison against the rampaging child abuse all common around us. We should use all legal and governmental instruments at our disposal to wage the war against child labor, child sexual molestations, unreasonable early marriage, educational deprivation of the girl child. Reducing all these to the barest minimum is equivalent to promoting the global peace.
The people demand the fall of the regime. Yemenis chant the now familiar cry which has echoed around the Arab world this year. Leading the protest in this deeply conservative Muslim country is a woman, 32-year-old Tawakkul Kamal. Known as the Iron Woman and the Mother of the Revolution, Kamal has become the passionate figurehead of this year's movement to oust Yemen's President Ali Abdullah Saleh after 32 years in power. Despite being virtually unknown outside her own country until the Arab Spring thrust her into the international spotlight, Tawakkul Kamal has long been a thorn in Saleh's side. She set up the campaign group Women Journalists Without Chains in 2005 and has led weekly protests since 2007, demanding women's rights and greater freedom of expression. The Saleh regime has not taken kindly to her vocal opposition, arresting her numerous times, including twice this year. She was jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, making her the first Arab woman ever to receive the prestigious honour. The judges said she had played a leading part in the struggle for women's rights and for democracy and peace in Yemen.
In order for the woman to pursue the promotion of the global peace, the state should pursue by all appropriate means and without delay a policy of eliminating violence against women.
The women living in conflict struggle has been recognized, is now documented, and for me going forward, the loud statement that has been made with this award is that the plight of women, the role of women, the involvement of women, their needs and priorities will never be ignored in this world.
Involving women in leadership positions for global peace is fundamental and key to the advancement of humanity and society. Peace is critical to the success of every society. The ability of nations to make progress and maintain competitive advantage in all spheres of human endeavor is dependent on how peace is regarded.
Already, I think women feel themselves much better positioned because of my own.
When women are involved, they make a real difference.
This is our new country and this is our new world. We are now struggling for a new world which is based on peace, which is based on love, which is based on justice, which is based on accountability, based on human rights. So without our struggling in our countries, we will not reach to this happy world.
The women's movement came to UN headquarters and said, we would like a resolution whereby women must be part and parcel of peace negotiation, peace building, and making sure that wars end.
In October 2000, we were to chair the sessions of the Security Council. We decided to introduce an agenda item on women and peace.
There was resistance in the Security Council, there was resistance out of the Security Council, but the overwhelming majority of members were in support.
First ladies possess the ability to bring more non-traditional actors from the public and private sector on board.
Women, mothers, and spouses, our role is very significant to world peace. Bearing in mind that the proponents of war and conflict are seeds of our womb. Let us, in the spirit of new goals, rethink the global peace on this premise. Let us stand up together for a peaceful beyond 2030.
We shall end this discourse with the story of the man who had and still has the power to command peace. Several hundred of years ago, on the day he was born into the world, a multitude of angels of heaven sang, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." He had the power over the raging storms. It was reported of him in the Gospel according to St. Mark chapter 4, verse 39. He commanded the stormy seas to be calm by saying aloud, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He came into the world bringing peace. He has the power over the storms of life. And of him, one of the ancient prophets of God in the book of Isaiah 9:6 said, "And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." Will it not be ideal to submit that only the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ, who had the power over the stormy seas of life, could be trusted with the peace of our life? He declared, and I quote, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world gives, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be afraid." I draw the curtains with second epistle of St. Paul to the Thessalonians, chapter 3, verse 16. Now the Lord of peace himself give you peace always, by all means. The Lord be with you all. And in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 2, he concluded by saying, "Grace be to you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ." May God be with you all.
Wherever there's war and violence, women exist. Women have things to tell us. And systematic, structured engagement of women should be standard practice in any international engagement in a conflict area.